Money movements.
Okay, so BlaXit family. So we all left the hotel and we've now just come to a beach where I think we're going to have a bit of an interesting meeting to talk about the history of along this coast. So yeah, it's been a great day, an amazing day. I had to go on my phone broke. So some of the information I already had sent by WhatsApp, but I'm not a person who remembers passwords, so I'm trying to get my passwords together. So yeah, it's been an interesting day so far, but I'm loving Sierra Leone. It's beautiful and reminds me a lot of Gambia, in fact, in a different way. The culture is different in a little bit, and the language is different, but the people look the same. So we're all one Africa, we're all one Africans, whether we're in Sierra Leone or whether we're in Gambia or we're in Mauritius. It doesn't matter where we are one family. And so this is what I'm realizing is that the diaspora and us Africans outside, like this group here, and us returning, we're one and the same. So today is going to be exciting, and I'll keep you updated on the tour. Thank you.
Here with delegated folk and my nephew, all of you, we've been together forever with ETV, and it's just prayer works.
Money movements.
This is BUNCE Island, a place where history sleeps. We're about to wake it up though. Yes. Yes, we need to start.
That King Street produced Katy Perry.
Hi, do we have everyone here already? Anyone
I saw
stop on the way? The boat didn't stop anywhere.
Okay.
We all made it, right?
So we're on BUNCE Island.
along the Atlantic.
I want to say a couple of things here before we go up there. Number one, a lot of Africans were taken from this place to the Americas. Primarily, the colonies of Georgia, South Carolina and Georgia, to do what?
Rice.
Grow rice. Because those guys who wanted the rice grown didn't have the skill sets to grow rice. So guess what they did? They came looking for us with the skills. Yeah? So tens of thousands of people were taken from this place to the Americas. A couple of things I want to point out with regard to the slave ships that came here. I don't know if you guys saw a marker where navigable waters were at. So when those slave ships would come, they can only go to a certain point, otherwise they will run aground. So they will park their ships there and they will get onto smaller boats and come to shore. Now, when a friendly ship would come here, they would fire their cannons to say, we're here, we want to do business with you, are we welcome, sort of. And these guys from here would also fire, yes, we're here, we're open for business, bring it on, so to speak. So once they have those signals, they will go into those smaller boats and come ashore. I was saying to those guys who are on our boats, those other guys were saying their boat is fast, but we had history on our boats. And sloop trade, where they would go on smaller boats called sloops, and they would go out to different posts and pick up people, north, south, and bring them back to BUNCE Island. Many of the ships that came here came from Great Britain, but some actually came directly from Massachusetts or Rhode Island, so the US, to come and fetch slaves. So it just wasn't British ships, American ships came out here also. So I can tell you a whole lot more, but I wanted us to walk up and actually go confront the legacy of the transatlantic slave trade, because that's what we're doing by going up there and seeing what really happened and telling these stories. I'm expecting all our guests, when they go back, to be ambassadors of this story, this history. So soak it in, as I've been trying to do all these past few weeks.
The ancestors of the BLA Xit people became part of British history, and part of the story of the empire the moment they set foot on this island. Here they were bought and sold and branded, but they also at that moment became part of one of the great struggles within the history of the empire, the struggle over the meaning of the idea of freedom.
I was born in the UK, and you just mentioned about the royal family's involvement in the slave trade, and you just said that people were branded with what? I didn't quite catch it. And what was their involvement?
Well, the Royal African Company of England was, owned by the monarchy of England. They participated in that investment, and they used to brand Africans over here with RACE, Royal African Company of England, that was supported by the monarchy, and also with the letter S to say they were from Sierra Leone. Of course, He's
So I'm now going to go through this door, which is the door into BUNCE Island, which is where people were taken, our people were taken, all different people from Sierra Leone, Gambia, all different parts across West Africa were taken from. So I'm going to go through this door.
Welcome to BUNCE Island, sister.
Thank you, brother.
But over here, you know, BUNCE Island had two classes of workers. You had the chief agent and the senior officials. They stayed in BUNCE Island House, as it used to be called, with an A, not a U. BUNCE Island House. But over here was the dormitory for the low class or low ranking officers. There was a warehouse underneath also, but they had rooms in here where the guys who did the operations, the cooks, whatever they were doing here, we had accountants here too. This is where they would sleep. It's called low-ranking officers dormitory. Over there, the company's flag. I think this one flew the Union Jack, the British national flag. And over there, there's another flag post that showed the companies. Royal Company of England, and later it was Group Oswald and Sergeant, or Sergeant and Oswald. Office tower, gate tower I already talked about. Officers were up there 24/7 looking down river and letting people in and out as needed to. And every time they would go to war, the last two were really the most important ones, in 1779 and 1794. But every time Brits and French would go to war, the French would bring that war here because they knew how important this was to the British economy. Just like it was to the American economy, in my heart, I believe America itself was built by us, because we set the stage to put it on that catapult that it enjoys today. Because rice was the first successful industry in America. South Carolina was the richest of the colonies. Yes. So we built that city. Yeah, America. So cannons, 7 shots. Wartime. Let me tell you how they would do, how they operate if they've been attacked. They will fire their cannons back. If the French were attacking them. So Old Plunkett attacked BUNCE Island once. Black Bart, the most feared pirate of his time, attacked BUNCE Island once when Old Plunkett was here. Old Plunkett, he was drunk, so he didn't give a hoot about that guy. He fired his cannons, he ran out of cannonballs, he started putting all kinds of metal in there, just firing at the pirates. Guess what? By the time it was done firing, he didn't have enough time to escape, and the pirates caught him right here on the island. And Black Bart behead, well, he was going to, but the guy, he cursed at Black Bart so much that even Black Bart's followers. So wait a minute here. Anyone who is bold enough to curse at Black Bart, as this guy has, deserves to live. That is recorded in the British archives. When we talk about an agent who saved his life through the dint of swearing. Cussing. But you know what happened to the guy? Because they moved him from here and they took him to the Gambia. Chief agent that was here, so they took him to become chief agent in the Gambia. And whilst he was there, the gunpowder magazine blew up. It was underneath the house. BUNCE Island House. Not BUNCE Island House. I think it was James Island. The whole island exploded and he died from that explosion. That's right.
Couldn't take intake island now.
Now, there's a lady that came here in the 1790s. Her name was Anna Maria Falconbridge. Anna Maria Falconbridge was here for dinner once from upstairs, right? She said that in her notes, there was all kinds of wine and food. You know, living the bourgeoisie style. But she happened to walk by one of the windows upstairs. And when she looked outside, this is how she described what she saw. She said she saw naked black men chained together in groups of 10 and the trough of rice they were using to satisfy their craving for food. So there's probably 200, 300 men in groups of 10, naked, chained together, and just one trough of rice in the middle of them. Imagine when it rained, what happened to those guys? Because it wasn't covered. So it would rain on them. And in Sierra Leone, when it rains, it pours. But we're not here to talk about the rain. So the guys were in here, chained together, eating off the trough of rice. That's what she saw while she was basking in opulence. See the contrast? Yeah. This house has been called BUNCE Island House, BUNCE Island House. Even the island itself, it has changed names a few times. The original name was BUNCE, B-E-N-S-E, BUNCE Island, for Captain BUNCE that used to deal in the slave trade. Later on, it was changed to George's Island. I used to think it was for King George, but no. There was another George Fryer guy who was instrumental in the second half of BUNCE Island history. So there are two histories. The first one was with the Royal Company that ended in 1648 because the Afro-Portuguese, who were also dealing in slaves, the Portuguese were here, Afro-Black Portuguese. They came here and flattened BUNCE Island because there were competition to them. And for 20 years, BUNCE Island slept. Nothing happened until Oswald and Sargent came and resuscitated the operations here. Yeah. Any questions? I can understand this can be a moving moment for some of us. So, there were three structures there, three important things were going on here. One was office tower, where they would do their accounting and count their people and whatnot. And over here was in the middle was a blacksmith forge. So as you see, pieces of metal. Judy just found one here. Children, for that matter. Yeah? Watch your hair.
Money movement.
We're now going into the slave yard of women and children.
So they can go rest. Right.
I'm not saying it. I'm just looking at the logic. You know what I'm saying? This
For the pleasure.
And they had a door, they had a room, they had a door at the back where people could enter from that side. Imagine if you're, I mean, not to be funny, but if you're one of those women in here, can you imagine what ordeal you have to go through every day? Yes, sir.
There were children because the women had babies.
No, children have value too, you know. Yes. Yes.
Well, the men's is much bigger, isn't it? I guess we get the You know, when you watch a slave movie,
They were dealing more in men than women. Those windows, that lady saw groups of 10 men chained together with a straw for price in the middle. And the slaves had to put up with it. There were no shades here. So the sun would beat them, the rain would beat them.
So no roof, just open.
Yeah.
Wow.
All for the sake.
Are you learning something so far?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
This is the men's slave yard. Look how big it is. Right. But you know what? Some Africans never slept here. As they were coming down to the island, they were being put on ships. They did not spend one day here, many of them. As they would come from the hinterland, put on ships right away. They didn't have time to come and, you know.
So this is storage.
Human warehouse.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow.
So they were just held here when there were no ships.
Exactly. There were no ships to load them. But when they do come, it'll be empty in here. And those who will come after will just go, phew. Yeah?
Now this is tuned to Trouble Will Be Over, that some of you know in the response line. Anytime we come to it is Africans on slave ships last saw their homeland when they left from BUNCE Island.
Because of the shame, not shame on us, shame on the ones who tried to take us out of here and tried to erase our culture. Shame on them. Now shame on us if we allow it to continue.
Yes,
that's the message we got to get.
We got it,
Can
Auntie
I say
Party.
one thing?
We got it.
Let
Go
me
ahead.
say this to you.
So what made you go on this tour today?
Oh, what made me go on this tour is a family thing. It's 8 of us here. We decided that it was a good time to make the connection between where we came from, because my mother was actually from Harris Neck, Georgia. And those descendants, along with the Wilson Moran, we're directly related to Wilson and Mary Moran. My mother was related to them, so that connects us to Sierra Leone. So that's why I'm here today, to complete the circle, you might say, bring it full circle to see where possibly my family came from on my maternal side. So that's why we're here today.
Amazing. And how's it been for you today?
Well, it's been hot. I've been sweating. Everybody's been talking about my wet shirt, and I'm like, look, I sweat, guys. I mean, leave me alone. I'm okay. Sweating is okay. So, but the trip has been very educational. I've been made very aware of how things were from this side of the world versus where I came from, because I came from, I guess, the other side where my foreparents were slaves in America, and then I grew up from the remnants of the slaves in America to being a free man, but I know the background and I know the remnants of what slavery did to us in America. And so
all African in the diaspora, to come home and reconnect with us and, try to help this continent to be a better place for all. And don't go with the idea that, African don't like black people living in the diaspora. That is a big lie. African love all the black people, whether you be in the Caribbean, you be in the United States, you be in the UK. We love you all, and we are encouraging all of you to come home and, invest, create business opportunities so that we can have a lot of job opportunity. If you are a medical doctor, you are engineer, come home and then you can be this country, because there is no place like home. One love. Bla Xit Family, for those that are, interested of speaking the Mende language, because many African American, people living in the Caribbean or people living in UK don't know the actual language. But I'm Mende because I raised I hear my mom and dad, speaking Mende. So if you're interested of, learning the Mende language, I have my YouTube channel called Ibrahim Jabi. You can click Ibrahim Jabi so you can see the multiple video of what I do, what I teach, the Mende language. So one peace and love, black unity.
Thank you.
It was so easy to lure the slaves from the villages. And,
It wasn't easy. It wasn't easy. It was about, okay, that's a good question you asked. Because what happened, let's say all three of you are chiefs of your own people. And I'm a chief agent, British guy, coming to you. I say, hey man, I got some guns and ammunition. If you want it, just give me some of your people and we can trade. And you would say, oh, I'm not too interested in that, sir. Carry on. They'll go to her. Say, chief, so, I have this. You can. And you probably say, oh, I'm not interested. Guess what's going to happen to you? And you, and the people. He's got the guns. He's going to get us. He will raid you, and he will take you into captivity, and he will march you down here on feet. A lot of times. Well, they will march him from, the hinterland to some river, and they'll get on boats and sail down to BUNCE Island.
BlaXit family, BlaXit family. It's been quite emotional. It's funny, I started to have visions because of, what I was being told, of what I was seeing, and I was seeing, hundreds and thousands of us all barefoot, panicking and screaming and, being absolutely frightened for our life. And yeah, that kind of put me on a weird spin today. I don't know where the vision came from, but it's like I had an epiphany. It's the only way I can describe it. It was like an epiphany. And I'm going to go to this tree and take some pictures. But all of these old structures are here, all brought up to capture us, to enslave us, to destroy us, to sell us. And ultimately to separate us and to divide us through history until now. Because I don't know if my family came from here. I don't know where we come from. We just know that we came out as a result of, the legacy of this terrible atrocity done to humanity, and it makes you really emotional because you feel the pain of your ancestors, and you also feel when he was talking about branding and when he was talking about, the things that we went through, and he went to the accounts office where we was just literally a number. We were just a financial transaction. We weren't human beings, we weren't bodies. And when I went through the area with the children and, the mothers, and it was a tiny little area, and you can imagine how many thousands upon thousands of people were trapped in this little area. So, I don't know, like I said, it's a tearful moment. I feel like breaking down, but it's not appropriate right now, really. I mean, you've got a lump in your throat. That's how I feel. I can't even, do my usual voice and everything, because it's just it's stuck right here. And it's like the tears are just waiting to ebb out, they want to flood out. But it's like my ancestors saying to me, hold it back, just like we had to. And I guess I have to be strong in that regard, because we had to hold back more than just our tears. I feel that the trees are symbolic here, They hold secrets, All of these, they hold secrets. They hold secrets of the pain that our ancestors went through. You see that? They drop straight out the ground. You see that? These walls hold secrets that we're never going to know. Secrets about what our ancestors have been through. Every little chunk has got a story to tell. Every stone, has an emotion, has a feeling. You can feel it here. You can feel it. So, I want to see this beautiful elephant tree. These elephant trees mask our journey and share our journey. They're in Senegal, they're in the Gambia, and they're here in Sierra Leone. So as I stay here with this tree's seen more than we have, and knows more than we have. BlaXit family, I'm going to say goodbye for now until I get to the next part of the tour. And I'm going to try and send this out so you can get to see what the day has been. So this is the day of the tour, and it's an emotional day because we're here where our people were kept enslaved. So I love you family, keep supporting the channel. Thank you for your donations. Like I said, I feel emotional today. I feel emotional, but I love you, and this is why we have to come home. We have to come home to the motherland. This is our land, this is where we were taken from. And right here's the proof. One love, one Africa, one unity, one nation. Let's come together and let's come home. Moment of contemplation for me. Right now, I'm doing the camera work, so you have to forgive any shakes. I'm going to go and do the group picture.
Money movement.
Hey, tell Betsy too. Betsy on the advisory board. Come on, Betsy. Where's Betsy? Come on, Ghana Kinfolk, Betsy. Board members. Yeah,